Hi, welcome to the Actuate breakout session on our customer developers. So we'll be speaking with a number of customers who are using the Spot SDK to build applications that are providing value to customers across a number of industries. My name is Brian Ringley. I am a product manager for Spot here at Boston Dynamics. And in this session, I'll be speaking with three different customers. I'll start with Aviad Almagor, the Senior Director of Emerging Technologies at Trimble, as well as his colleague, Darren Thompson, who's a Senior Software Developer there. Trimble is a company known for connecting the physical and the digital world through wide array of geospatial positioning and modeling technologies, and has recently teamed up with Boston Dynamics to offer integrated solutions that really for the first time, I think we're seeing out of the box value for end construction users with devices such as their X7 laser scanner for reality capture and their SPS 986 GNSS smart antenna for GPS based autonomy in challenging exterior environments. Next, I'll be speaking with Stein Danielson. Stein is the co founder and chief solutions officer from Cognite. Cognite, our customer, is a global software company transforming heavy asset industries, such as offshore oil and gas, through rapid digitization. They've been using Spot actually with their Cognite Data Fusion platform. It's a very impressive digital twin platform that consolidates sensors and sensor data, asset hierarchies, and spatial information, kind of all in one consolidated environment. And then they can use their API as well as our SDK to leverage robots like Spot to connect the digital twins for robotic and autonomous data capture. And in fact, also use robots to use that data capture to extend those digital twin environments. It's a very interesting application. And then lastly, we'll be speaking with Jeff Linnell, who is, a robotics and human robotics interaction expert that I've been following actually for quite some time over my career, and most recently is the founder at Formant. Formant is an intelligent platform for heterogeneous or mixed robot fleet management, and has been doing a lot of really interesting work. Not just in the management of robotic fleets, but in the remote operation of those robots. And case in point, they've used the Spot SDK to release a Walk with Spot web experience. This actually allows users to remotely pilot Spot through the streets of San Francisco from the comfort of their home computer over the internet, which has generated a lot of kind of just general excitement and increased accessibility to these types of agile mobile robots in a way that we really haven't seen before. So let's get to it. All right, I'm here with Aviad Almagor from Trimble. Aviad, could we start by you introducing yourself and your role at Trimble, please?
Sure, Brian. Thank you for having me. It's great to be part of the first Boston Dynamics Actuate event. It's really exciting. I'm a senior director of emerging technologies at Trimble. My team works on early phase technologies with potential to transform the industry and the way our customers work. We set a vision, identify business cases, and work side by side with visionary partners like Boston Dynamics and with visionary customers to fine-tune the use cases, resolve technological gaps, and commercialize the solution.
That's great. And we also have joining us here Darren Thompson from Trimble. Darren, could you give us a few words about yourself as well?
So, hi, my name is Darren Thompson, and I'm a lead software engineer at Trimble. I've spent the last sort of 5-6 years helping bring HoloLens and VR to the construction industry, and now I'm really excited to be helping bring Spot to the construction industry.
All right, so Aviad, kicking it back over to you. Before we get into the details here, I'd be really interested in hearing what is the high level kind of objective for Trimble and vision for the future of construction robotics?
Well, the overarching vision is automated workflows aligned with Industry 4.0, if you will. Robots play a significant role in this vision. They will be applied for routine tasks in hazardous environments, improving safety, efficiency, and quality of work. In fact, we already see automation and robotics with promising results in the prefab portion of the industry in terms of increasing productivity, cost reduction, resolving labor shortage, which is critical in the construction industry, and improving quality. The same or similar benefits can be achieved with robots like Spot in construction sites.
Yeah, and you mentioned a few specific technologies like laser scanning and GNSS. So I guess, the question on everyone's minds would be, what specific problems are you solving for customers with this combination of Trimble and Boston Dynamics technology?
Improving production and quality control processes are major goals for our customers. A Spot equipped with a Trimble X7 scanner or a GNSS receiver can help automate this process. It can be programmed to daily on-site autonomous scans, capturing as-built data and delivering frequent updates to the project team. So early identification of production delays or discrepancies between design and actual can make a difference and dramatically impact cost and quality of work.
Yeah, totally agreed. The interesting thing about Trimble that I find is that they have their hands in quite a few different areas of the construction industry, both in terms of hardware and software. So as a customer, could I expect all of these things to work together in the context of the robot?
Well, that's a great question, and a critical factor for us, and I think a critical factor for success is to fully integrate a solution, to provide the customer with a user experience where he is actually using the robot and the payload as one product. This will improve the efficiency and the productivity of the team on site.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd like to turn it over to Darren now and maybe talk about some of the specifics of each of these integrated devices, as well as, his experience as a developer down in the trenches working with the Spot SDK.
So for laser scanning, the device we decided to go with was our newer X7 scanner. The reason for that is it has self-leveling. A lot of the previous generation scanners that have to be on a tripod, they have to be very stable, that have to be perfectly level. The beauty about and coincidental release of the X7 is that it can deal with the platform being on a slight angle, and then as you move around the site, it self-registers and back registers the scans that it previously took. So you end up with a really nice large point cloud with minimal amount of sort of manual effort to get everything synced up and looking right.
That's great. And then for the GNSS, what have you been helping us with?
And then for the GNSS, we have gone for a pretty high-end device to start off with. It's called the SPS 986. And it has all the bells and whistles. The main really beneficial feature is it does extremely high accuracy, positional precision.
Yeah.
And that gives us sort of around about 1 to 2 centimeters of accuracy in terms of knowing where the GPS is and therefore where Spot is.
That's great. Yeah. No, that's a really exciting combination. So I guess getting down to it, you're probably one of the world's foremost experts now in the Spot SDK, which, both from the kind of physical payload hardware integration side, as well as all the various software APIs. Which parts of that platform have you been most involved with as you've been building out these tools?
I guess I've been kind of fortunate enough to have my fingers in all of the pies, so to speak. We definitely started off with the scanner payload, integrating in with the remote mission service, writing our own servicer to handle the communication between the robot reaching a callback, talking to the payload, doing the work, and then handing the control back to the robot. So that's where we started first, and that was very much a team effort.
What other advice would you have for new developers just getting into the Spot SDK?
I mean, everyone starts in the same place. You get the robot out and you get the tablet. The tablet is a really good thing to explore. I would say 70% of the functions that the robot can do are all there. Yeah. And very well set up and presented and easy to use. So that's the first thing. see everything that you can do on the tablet, because everything that Boston Dynamics have written in that app is based on the SDK. You know, you can do everything that that app can do on your own, somewhere else in your own program. So that's the first place. The second place, depending how you want to go, is either the documentation or the examples, depending on what sort of person you are.
Yeah.
The examples are great. There's a really good library there. The WASD.py is one of my go-to examples. You know, it has pretty close to all of the stuff that you want to have to communicate with the robot, authenticate, set up all the core services you need, like the e-stop and the lease, and then issue commands to the robot to move it move it around. And then, of course, you know, see through the eyes of Spot. Or the, you know, the WASD has a interesting way of presenting that, but you know, you can easily take that and expand it into a GUI if you want to, which I've done on several occasions as, you know, a base for the prototypes that I've been building.
Well, that's really great. You know, I'm excited for the future here. You know, there are already so many Trimble automation technologies out in the field. You know, anything from BIM to machine control. I love that Spot is kind of joining this ecosystem, and it really lines up with a shared vision for automated construction. So, you know, thank you to both you and Darren for your time today. This has been a really great conversation.
Sure, and from our side, we are excited on this partnership with Boston Dynamics and from the transformative potential of this partnership on the industry. The impact of robotics goes way beyond construction, and I would like to encourage everyone to join us in this exciting journey. It is an opportunity to lead the market and transform the way the work is being done, and I'm sure it will be fun.
Yeah, this is a really incredible partnership and a really exciting time for robotics in this field. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
For this session, I'm here with our customers and development partners, Cognite, and I'd like to introduce my interviewee here, Stein Danielson. Stein is a co-founder and a chief solutions officer at Cognite. Cognite is a global software company that is currently disrupting and transforming heavy asset industries through rapid digitalization, which, you know, makes sense that Spot is part of that story for them. They specialize in minds and machines working together, so human intelligence and machine intelligence augmenting one another. And Stein is responsible for the applications and solutions that are built on top of their application, Cognite Data Fusion. This is their flagship platform. So, you know, having introduced Cognite a bit as a company, let's start, you know, big picture. What is their vision for robotics in your industry?
Yeah, so the vision for Cognite is to get data to power industry so that we can free humans to be creative and innovative. And so robots play very well into this because we want the data to optimize the production, and we want to cut costs and all of that. So we build a sort of what we call a digital twin, which is then the fusion of all this data from all these different sources. Now there is a lot of data that isn't in a source system already. Like there's lots of rust. We have lots of cracks and leaks, and we have analog gauges. We have people going remote places that we don't have in a digital system. And so we want to use the robots to do that type of work for us, capture those types of imagery, and go to remote locations or maybe live there, and also to both help in production optimization, but also help out in dangerous situations as well.
Would you mind giving us a little bit of background about how Cognite first thought, you know, to even contact us to use Spot, and how your work is specifically integrating with the robot?
Yeah, so, you know, I've been watching the Boston Dynamics videos for a long time. And so I felt our work was a little bit unrelated in the start, but then we started to use a lot of cameras for the things I mentioned, let's say rust, cracks, corrosion, and those types of things. And then we also gave people mobile phones for using this visual sensor. But then we started to have to ask them to go take pictures of something. And, you know, they do automated inspection, or they do inspection rounds, have to do this all the time. And this is the perfect work for a robot. You know, a robot is very precise, it's tireless, it can do this all the time. And so what we do is that we have this digital twin, all the information we know about, let's say, a factory, and we have the robot capture more information and put into that same type of understanding of the asset. And we can even be kind of smart about this, so we can take everything we know from the plant and give that knowledge to the robot. So, you know, the robot can be as smart as a person, or it can know everything that's in all these different systems when it goes out and do some type of work. So let's say I want to read an analog gauge. I say, go out and read that analog gauge. The robot needs to know where this is. And in Cognite Data Fusion, we have the 3D models, we have the maps, we have the gauge data. So we know all of these things.
That's really cool. And, you know, are there specific, you know, APIs or elements of the SDK that you and your team found particularly useful to achieve these things?
So we have programmed this mission control into the Cognite Data Fusion platform. So then we can start to remote operate the robot, and so we can move around the environment. Also to build a 3D model. If we don't really already have a 3D model, we can build that just from moving around, taking pictures, or doing type of LiDAR or laser scans. Then we can start to build the missions. So then we use the waypoints API, the auto work feature. We use all of those things to sort of map out different interest areas and how to get there, how to point the cameras, and to sort of do, for instance, for automated inspection, how to read the gauges, how to look at the valve positions, how to see if fans are spinning, and you will go on this path and go back and wait for the next operator round. So we do that. Also, we use a lot of different payloads. So we use some of our own payloads, some of third-party payloads, and also Boston Dynamics payloads. So we use the spot core, the spot cam, PTC, 360 camera, the extension adapter, all of those types of things to do visual types of inspections, to do 360 images. So we can build a Google Street View map of your entire asset just by running the robot around, and you can do this automatically after the first round. Then we also use the, for automated inspection, the different kinds of visual cameras, but we also use third-party sensors. So we do infrared types of cameras. We have some use cases with, let's say, iron factories or things like that. We have sound sensors. So we have even a 100 microphone microphone array from another company, Squarehead, that we can use to even pinpoint strange sounds or different types of sounds. And sounds is really important. Like in an industrial asset, the operators there can hear if something is wrong. And so we want to add hearing to it as well, so that we can also hear these types of things. And of course, being in oil and gas very heavily, we also have gas sensors and those types of things on the robot. So we're trying to use anything we can on top of Spot.
Do you have any other advice you would give to, you know, the audience here, which might contain a lot of people who are new to the Spot SDK?
Yeah, so we do. So you know, we learn a lot along the way. I would say that deploying robots is also a lot about change management. It's not so easy to drive change with your customer. They might be very enthusiastic about a robot, and you can use that to drive change. So I would say that you need to focus on the use cases. So how will this thing that you're doing, the project, how will that actually capture value? Like, will you increase production, or will you cut costs, or will you make it more safe from what you're doing?
That's great. And, you know, speaking of shooting for the moon, you know, to close this out, what are you looking forward to doing in the future? What can we expect from Cognite's integration with Spot, you know, over the next year or so?
Yeah, you know, so my gut feeling is that this is just the beginning. Like, this is where it starts. And I see so many new technologies. I feel like it's Christmas Eve every day, and there's so many new packets. I don't even have time to open them all. There's such a lot of unused potential in the perception part. So we're fusing all these, like the old 3D model, we're fusing laser scans with the current perception from Spot. But this can only be expanded. So, you know, our vision is that we, for all our heavy industry types of asset heavy industries, that we go out. I just bring a lot of robots out there. I open my trunk, they flow out, and they scan the entire area. So we're working with that. We're doing that now. So we get this sort of the physical digital twin. We're also doing a lot of imagery, so we can recognize things like valves and gauges and things like that. But then we place those into the 3D perception of this. And then we do the same thing for depth modeling. So, you know, if you have a LiDAR, or if you do photogrammetry from the normal Spot camera, you will have also point clouds of equipment. So we will recognize different pieces of equipment, and we're starting to do that now. So we recognize where there's pipes, where there's valves, where there is gauges, where there are pumps, motors, turbines, everything.
Well, very, very exciting stuff. It was a real pleasure to speak with you, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, I'm here with Jeff Linnell from Formant. Jeff is very well known in the creative technology scene. I've actually been following his work since Bot and Dolly, which he founded, as well as Autofuss, based out of San Francisco, and has been developing a novel approach to, or shall I say, a novel application of traditional robots and industrial robots, and continues to do so now with Spot. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
And, speaking of, you touched on this a little bit, with Formant overall, but, what is your vision specifically for the robotics industry, and how do you hope to change it with respect to these various industries you're serving?
For me, my vision of automation, actually, one, getting beyond the 95 to the 100% usable, is human backed, but it's also the way that this scales. It's the only way that it makes sense, is that you leverage what a human's good at, but you do it in a way that they can manage multiple numbers of machines. Otherwise, you're creating a very expensive robot. You've got a robot plus engine, and now it's twice as costly to actually get something done. So, I think this next decade of automation is really all of the edge cases being picked up by humans. And, I'm starting to see that all over the place, because most of the robots that we're working with, and I think Spot's a great example of this, are field deployed. They're out there, they're bumping into stuff. The environment is invariably fraught with problems, and that's where the humans come in. They solve the problems, that the robot can't. And so I think that's the next decade.
You've worked with a lot of different types of robots. You've worked with traditional arms in like a manufacturing environment. You've worked with other types of wheeled or treaded mobile robots. What is unique about legs? What is unique about quadrupeds like Spot?
Well, the clear answer there is it's about the mobility opportunities that are afforded, right? It can go over things that these other systems can't. And I have this this sort of experience. The first time I was amazed by a robot was when I got a bunch of KUKAs on a truck from Detroit 15, 20 years ago. And I said, oh my God, what have I done? I just bought all this steel. I don't know, I don't know how to use it. I don't know if it's going to perform the task that I have. The next time I was amazed was when I got Spot, and I got it. I took it out of its crate. It was raining in San Francisco. Of course, I didn't read the instruction manual. I just turned it on. I got it going, and I took it about 6 blocks through the rain to a friend's engineering company to show it off, and it got there. But the fact that it got out the door, over a curb, through the rain, navigated a bunch of humans, and actually got there, you can only do that with a quadruped.
So you mentioned, it's about how you use this technology. So how are you using it right now at Formant? What are the primary applications you're developing?
Yeah, so we use it all the time as a test platform for our software. And so, we're getting 250 signals off of Spot, approximately. There's more if we wanted to grab it, but we're really testing all of the features of our software. We're checking our alerting system. We're checking our buffering system. We're checking our data pipes. We're tuning our video through it. We're tuning our teleoperation interface to make sure that it's performant. And so we use it as a test platform. We're also using it in a program where we're introducing robotics to school children. Actually, they want to, they're in STEM programs, want to learn about robotics. We've got a Walk with Spot program where we're offering it up to schools, and we'll get 75 kids at a time to go on a walk through San Francisco and learn about robotics. And really the intention there is to show people that it's possible, to demystify this, to take the edge off of it, and start to say, get acclimated, because this is going to enter your universe. You're going to start to see robots in your profession, but also just in daily life, you'll see more and more. On the business side of things, a clear application that we're working on is inspection. And so it's we've got a number of customers in energy that are looking at doing inspection with Spot, as well as construction that want situational awareness on a construction site when you've got multiple sites and you can't necessarily get out there to the field.
I want to jump to your remote dog walking experience, which everyone's super excited about. Essentially, or not essentially, literally, anyone from anywhere in the world with an internet connection can get on their personal computer and drive Spot around San Francisco using your technology. And I'm just curious what the story was behind your motivation to do that, and how you developed that solution.
So we actually we acquired a teleoperation company pretty early on at Format to provide these services. We started out with building out an observability platform where you can sort of look at all the data from a system and root cause things and make decisions for a robot or a fleet of robots that are field deployed, keep them running and healthy. Then we built an analytics platform that says, how are my missions doing? How many errors am I getting? What's my ROI? And asking business questions. Thinking that was the majority of the problem space that we wanted to attack. What we realized after we had built that was you still get in situations where you're painted yourself into a corner, or you actually literally need to beam in and joystick a robot.
Yeah.
If you're spending time joysticking a robot, you're probably not getting the most value out of your time, but these things still do come up. So, we wanted to provide a tool for that, and so we built out the teleoperation end of the product. And it turns out there isn't anything there to buy off the shelf. You can just go. Everybody's still sort of rolling their own, and that to me says, well, can we build a shovel here or a pickaxe? And so. We did it, and it's been great. It's this thing where, through the letting the public walk this from their couch, from wherever, has proved that it's possible. We've learned a lot about network connectivity. We've learned a lot about the interface, and invariably, anybody that's played Fortnite for 10 seconds can make this happen. And so. We've sort of proved the point that it doesn't matter if you're 75 years old or if you're 7, you can operate this robot, and you can do it from thousands of miles away.
Yeah, and I just love what you've built with the teleop experience in San Francisco. I mean, the story you're telling too about accessibility, I think that's huge. I mean, there are a lot of technology hurdles, but there are also these kind of socialization hurdles, and it really connects people and users to this technology in a way that's meaningful for them, and kind of changes how they approach technology. I think that'll be just as important as the hard technology problems, and getting this stuff to scale. And now let's jump to the future. So, now we're talking about scaling, we're talking about managing fleets of robots. And I don't want to be so hubristic as to assume that these are just spots. They're going to be all sorts of different types of robots doing all sorts of different things. What is your vision for the future, and what are you excited about working on?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, so it's I'm excited to be an enabler and to accelerate the adoption of this technology. And I think it is. They aren't all spots. It's everything. It's probably Spot in coordination with an aerial system, or Spot in coordination with a witness camera. We actually, find out that when we're operating, one of the most important things for us is that we have a third party perspective. And so we stream from outside sources so that we see where is Spot in the parking lot and things like that. And that's critical. So why not just have a drone fly over and show me that there's a situation, and then I can decide to look closer maybe with Spot. So it is no one vendor. It's how do I get all of my autonomy systems on one piece of glass so that I can make smarter decisions for them holistically.
It's always a real pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Have a great conference, and honored to be here.